everybody! Hi, how are you doing? My name is Lara, for those of you who don't know. Lara, I said that in a really bizarre way. Hi. We're gonna have a bit of a chat today. We're gonna have a good sit down chin wag. Often in videos you don't see me with notes, and you don't see me with prepared bullet points. But today's a bullet point kind of day. But hi, my name is Lara, for those of you who don't know. I have been anorexic, bulimic, orthorexic. I still suffer with body dysmorphia. I have had an abundance of eating disorders. So here we are today. We're going to talk about the ways and methods that I managed to get myself out of that detrimental mindset of disordered eating. I specifically was suffering more so with anorexia nervosa, and that went on for quite a few years. I am still in the path of recovery. I think that's one thing I would like to acknowledge immediately, is the fact that just because I've restored my weight doesn't mean my recovery is not ongoing. So about 18 months ago, I released a video called Anorexic to Athlete, and I shared my in-depth story about suffering anorexia, my eating disorder, my mental health illnesses and my conditions, my whole downfall, but also my what's the opposition to downfall? The way I recovered, the way that I got out of it, the way that I kind of gained weight and got happy and healthy. Across all my social media platforms, I do continue to raise awareness for mental health conditions, eating disorder awareness, and everything like that, sharing my story, sharing my experiences, sharing advice. But I want to also make an in-depth video talking about my experiences, but also talking about the advice and things that I've learned along the way, which could hopefully benefit you. I do often have a lot of people asking me, wanting advice. So this is almost the video that I want to direct people to, in order for them to know that they're not alone, that you can recover, you can improve. Often you can find yourself stuck and intoxicated with that disordered voice. Your soul mentality is revolving around this eating disorder, and it's destructive and it hurts and it's depressing and it's hard. So hopefully I can pick up some advice and some points that I've learned along the way of my journey of recovery, of my I think I'm year 4 now of my recovery journey. But one thing I will say, if you're in a really difficult place, if you're in a detrimental state, this video is not necessarily a solution. It's just a way for you to know that you're not alone, and just some support and advice and some encouragement. If you are struggling and if your health is at risk, please visit a doctor, please call up your GP, please book an appointment, because that will help you the most, in the sense that you need the medical support, you need the professional advice. I'm not professional by any means. I think that's one thing that people want to misconstruct sometimes. I will share my experience. I will share the knowledge that I've gained personally from my personal experience. I am not medically trained. I am not a GP. I am not a therapist. I'm not a counsellor. I'm not a psychologist. This is just what I've learned along the near 10 years of me suffering mental health conditions. So point number 1, which is probably a point that you've already acknowledged if you've tapped on this video, is to acknowledge the illness, acknowledge the fact that you're struggling. Often you can feel blurred, often you can feel completely consumed by these overriding disordered thoughts within your mentality. Making it known and making your illness known and speaking up about it and vocalizing and actually admitting it to yourself can also be the most single difficult thing you could do, because it's almost as if it's taken the control back. For me, my eating disorder was rooted from my need of control, and it was rooted from a difficult period in my lifetime where I was mourning a coping mechanism, and I went to that side of things. I went to a very unhealthy mentality, and it went to a very unhealthy way of coping with my emotions at that time. But the thing is, the control element, you originally went to this eating disorder because you wanted control. Very, very quickly, the eating disorder is controlling you. Once you get that internal strength to understand that it's you and the eating disorder, and it's not the eating disorder controlling you, manipulating you and intoxicating you with these, aggressive, ill thoughts and negative body image and disordered thoughts towards food. Once you understand the balance, once you understand that you are you and the eating disorder is not your identity, that can be the biggest step. It can be the scariest step, and it can be the step which you feel the most vulnerable. But once doing that, that's like you're going somewhere. You're going somewhere. You've taken that first leap. Having it known and having professionals implemented within your life, although at the time they can be like the scary people, they can be the bad people, they can be the ones that are taken away from you. They're the ones that care the most, and they are the ones that will want to support you and help you and get your head to a place where you are happy and healthy, where you can eat, where you can live life without having the overriding anxiety every single day. Point number 2 is again an acknowledgement point, and it's to be true to triggers. As I said previously, eating disorders are routed from mental illnesses. For me, definitely so. I had a trigger, and it took me years to acknowledge. It took me years to undergo the strength to finally admit to it, to finally release it and have that off my chest. Sorry, the lighting is going, I just changed the angle. From my experience, my eating disorder had a trigger, and my recovery and my progress and the way that I genuinely think that saved my life was taking the time to appreciate what I went through and appreciate my triggers as an individual. Going through my childhood, my experiences, my life, and understanding what caused the mental capacity for me to think that starving myself was an okay thing to do. Once you are able to truly uncover this, no matter how traumatic, you're given like the opportunity, you are given like a key to focus on and to look after your mindset. It's a literal weight off your shoulders, although it's scary. Like you finally unleash the ability to focus on the cause and the trigger and the root of the issue. And granted, it may take a lot longer. It's not going to be as easy as, oh, that's what happened. Oh my gosh, I'm healthy. Woohoo. We all know. Everyone watching this video knows it's not as simple as that. And for me, it took absolute years, and it's still taking me time to process. But finally understanding and finally appreciating the things that could have caused my mindset to go to that side of things was a weight off your shoulders, and was, it was freedom. And it was, we got it, finally. Number 3 is kind of obvious, but just bear with me. But it's to alter your perception of food. Okay, so let's say your mindset is of one where you think food is again me. You see food as solely a calorie. For me, I only saw food as something to make me gain weight. I loved food. I loved the taste of food. That's why I suffered so badly with bulimia, because I loved food, but I hated the thought of me gaining weight. I was so terrified of the perception of me not losing weight and not losing a significant amount of weight on the scale every day, because that was the only thing that was acceptable to me at that time. And assuming that you're at a point where you can have some sort of control and some sort of implementation into the way that you're eating, suggesting that you're not in hospital and you're not following a specific meal plan that a medical professional has provided you with, understand that you can enjoy the process of food, you can enjoy the process of cooking, you can enjoy the process of preparing, you can look in cookbooks, you can make it a social experiment, you can try different flavours. And I think that was the most exciting thing for me. I began looking into cookbooks and just combining different things, understanding spices, understanding herbs, understanding different textures and different fruits and vegetables and meats and, grains, and just really experimenting with things and really not restricting myself with anything, not restricting a particular food group, because that's quite detrimental for my mindset as well. Just giving myself complete capacity, having that time to cook with your family and having that time to prepare a meal and have that satisfying element of thinking, I made this and fuck, it tastes good. And sometimes after years and years and years of abusing your body and thinking that food is such a negative thing, it's difficult to take the flip. It's difficult to adjust that mentality into understanding that food is bloody good. Food is epic. I love food. But at that time, it's like the enemy, and it's difficult. So it is just about slowly appreciating and slowly having the ability to reverse the mentality of food and reverse your perception of food. I'm going to get my notebook out for this one, because this one's quite... But the thing that I did, thing is, I'm quite a rational person, but my eating disorder was irrational. So I was trying to battle the mentalities. And what I did was educate myself about the repercussions of the eating disorders and the things that could happen to my body. When I'd have my wobble days, or when I had the days where I was really stuck, where I was really, wanting to give up my meal plan, wanting to exercise addictively, wanting to reduce my calories, wanting to purge, I had a page in my notebook where I listed all the health implications. So some of them include, I know this sounds really horrible, but loss of bone mass, osteoporosis. I had osteoporosis, irregular heartbeat, low blood sugar, anemia, dehydration, electrolyte imbalance, infertility. That scares me. And yeah, it's like when you take it the extra step further into appreciating the really serious health implications, you're thinking infertility, you're thinking death. I was at a point where I was told that I was going to die, and you're so blurred and your head is just anorexia. I got to the point where my identity was the eating disorder. You don't think of the stuff like that because you just think about losing weight, and you don't think about the fact that your body's literally eating itself inside out. Literally. My body was eating the muscle. My body was eating the muscle. Heart is your muscle. Your heart could stop. And I know that sounds a bit aggressive and a bit brutal, but that's the truth. And eating disorders aren't something that you can glamorize, aren't something that you can simplify and just tell somebody, oh, have a burger. It's a genuine life-threatening illness in some cases, and you got to take it seriously. Another one, amenorrhea, like, you know what I mean, loss of periods. I didn't have my period for 18 months. But then also, on the same page, I talked about the positives of recovery. I had a really good parallel. So I had like the scary points into like, Lara, this is not good. But then I also had like, the empowering points of things that could happen when I gain weight, which is I'd be healthy. I'd have energy. I could actually move myself without being exhausted and break my bones. Another point which I actually put down quite a few times, and just to remind myself, I'd have boobs and I'd have a bum. And it was literally just the ability to like have a female body and to feel empowered by it and to have curves and to feel strong and to feel like all hail female. And anorexia wasn't providing me with an ass. Anorexia wasn't providing me with boobs. And it sounds so minuscule and so basic, like, oh, I want boobs, let me just recover from anorexia. But once you're in, like, you're motivated and you want to get healthy, and then when you think of, I could have a body that I can actually feel proud of and I actually can feel like sexy in, that'll be cool. And that was another motivator. It was something, and it was something for me just to thrive for and strive for. Another thing, I won't faint. I'd have freedom. I wouldn't be bedbound. I'd be able to see my family and my friends, and my family and friends will not be worried about my existence and my life. You know, got to a point where, as I said, my family was scared that I was going to lose myself and they would lose me. And seeing your family witness that is heartbreaking, because when you see it from a different person's perspective, is really difficult. And I think that was one of my key motivators, was understanding that I never wanted my sisters to lose me. You know, my sister's like 10 years younger than me. I want to be a role model for them. I don't want them growing up thinking that you need to be skinny like Lara. Like, that would break me. If I thought that they were doing what I was doing to myself, that hurts my heart. So then if you think, why are you doing it to yourself then? So that's another thing to think of. I'd have energy to play with my sisters. I'd have energy to take my dogs for a walk. And it's just those positive things. It's good to have the mentality of understanding the real and raw repercussions of suffering anorexia, but then have the positives and like the enlightening, empowering things as well for you to think of, and know that you will have a life and you will have boobs and you'll be able to spend time with your family and spend time with your friends. Last point, which is more so very much towards the end point of your restoring your weight, is moving your body and understanding that your body is powerful and your body is fucking incredible. Like, let's just take a second to give our bodies a hug for, you know, taking us through life, for allowing us to live. It's about time we stop punishing it. It's about time we stop abusing it and stop pointing out its flaws and imperfections. It's about time we start fucking thanking it and thinking, damn, this body of mine is incredible. I love it. I love you. Self-love. But the one thing, bit of a tangent there, but the one thing that I did that was really motivating for me, granted it was at very much the tail end point of me restoring my weight and I was in a healthier place, so just understand that this point is going to be, you know, attributed to different people in different ways. If you're in a really detrimental state of your anorexia and you're really, really small and, you know, on the whatever place you're on, it's not going to be good advice, but if you're in a device where you just want to make sure your mentality is staying quite positive, is moving your body. Go for walks, go for little jogs. The most empowering thing that I did was I did a cancer research 5K quite a few months after I was discharged from hospital. And it was incredible because it was about appreciating the strength of my body and the capabilities of my body. And I was able to run and I had energy, and I ate a whole bowl of oats before to make sure I had enough slow release and energy and carbohydrates to fuel my run. And then celebrating that incredible event with hundreds and hundreds of women felt fucking amazing. And we were all there. We were all different shapes and sizes, different ages, different ethnicities, and we were all there celebrating. We were all there achieving something together. And you're achieving something, and it's not the way that you look, and it's not the way that your body weighs. It's about your body's abilities and strengths, and it's so cool. It's so cool. Fitness and moving and running half marathons. You know, I fundraised for Beat, the eating disorder charity. That felt amazing. And it was not about the way that my body looked anymore. It wasn't about the way that my body weighed or the circumference of my thigh or the gap between my legs. It was about what my body could do. And I was eating a lot because I was moving a lot and I felt good. I was eating good food, you know, my healthy fats, my carbs, my veg, my everything, not restricting anything. And that's why I think I've progressed so well within my training, because I find progression so satisfying, because I just cherish and embrace every single win that my body is capable of, every single lift I can do that I couldn't perform a few months ago, and feel the satisfying element of progression that I got there, that I was able to achieve. And it wasn't about, okay, it's because my body looked like this, my body looked like that. No, it's about the way that my body performed. So that's one thing that, you know, you can understand that you've got to be in a different state in your recovery, whatever period you are in. But coming out of it and having that satisfying element of being able to focus on your capabilities and your strengths and how cool your freaking body is amazing. So do that. Look into that. I'd highly recommend looking into that. I'm going to wrap the video up there. I'm also going to leave a few helplines down below and like resourceful websites for you to check out if you are interested and you want to have a look at any more, you know, helpful resources. I've said that many times, but it'll be down below if you want any more support. But yeah, I hope this is helpful in some way, and I hope you're doing okay. I know you're probably watching this video if you are needing support and you need encouragement, but just know you're loved and you're valuable and you're worthy and you deserve every element of recovery. I know what it's like to feel hopeless. I know what it's like just to feel completely invaluable, worthless. It sucks. But just know that you still do have that fire in your belly. You can have that fire, you can have that motivation to think that you can plow through forward. It's going to be a difficult ride. I'm not saying that it's not, but taking those steps and taking those, you know, points of acknowledgements and being able to finally speak up openly about it, you should be proud of that. And just be proud of every single win. Be proud of every single minuscule win, because it's progression and you need to focus on that, and write a diary and just be creative. Yeah, I just wish you the best, and just know that my Instagram DMs are always open if you want to help, if you want to shout, chat, I'm there. I will try to help out with as much as I can. I also have an email address. Everything will be linked below. But yeah, I hope you're all okay. And yeah, just believe in your own strength and keep smiling.